The data from the American Presidency Project, President Biden has only had 14 solo press conferences during his time in office. That is far fewer than any other modern president, and 11 of those took place in the first 2 years of his term. So the press has been waiting a while to ask some questions, and Americans have been waiting a while to hear some answers. Real answers from a president who hasn't given many as of late. So, how will this all play out? Well, to answer that, to give us a little perspective, crystal ball, Chris Cillizza, former CNN editor-at-large and author and founder of So What, daily political newsletter on Substack. Thank you so much for joining us. Really appreciate it. So let's talk about this big boy press conference. What are you expecting? Is it going to be quick? Is it going to be like 2 hours? Are they going to be only taking questions from, pre-assigned reporters? What can we expect here?
Yeah, golly, it's a great question. So I think ideally, and I don't know that Biden can do this, but ideally what you do in this kind of press conference is you basically take questions until the press runs out of questions, right? Like you take questions about your health, then you take questions about NATO, then you take more questions about your health. You take questions and questions and questions and questions until you're like, are there any more? No, I'm having such a great time. Like that's what I think ideally you would want if you were the White House. Now, I think it's really important, Jesse, to note that graphic that you showed. 14 solo press conferences in 3.5 years. If they thought that Joe Biden was really capable of doing what he's going to have to do tomorrow, yeah, that graphic. If they thought Joe Biden was really capable of it, they would have already done it a bunch of times. It is not breaking news that Joe Biden is old, and lots of people think that Joe Biden may not be able to serve another 4 years. 18 months of polling has shown that. They didn't do it because they were worried about what would happen. And we saw worst case scenario, or what I think is worst case scenario, in the debate. So, yeah, ideally he goes for a long time. Can he do that? I think the honest answer is I have no real way of knowing.
Well, here's the thing. He went 22 minutes with George Stephanopoulos last week. That didn't really seem to quiet the critics. So what is the bare minimum that the president has to do tomorrow to, reinvigorate confidence in himself and his presidency?
All right, so let me say two things. One, I don't think even if Joe Biden is, pick your, most impressive speaker or press conference giver, even if Joe Biden is that guy or gal, I don't think we leave this press conference and all the Democrats go, whoo, okay, problem solved. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't think there's a key that unlocks and fixes the problem. That said, I think he's got to probably go at least an hour, 45 minutes to an hour of taking questions, in which time he has to be cogent. He has to stumble as little as possible. He has to clearly sort of be engaged and answer the question. And, again, I just keep coming back to this. Even if he does that, are 51+ million people going to be watching the press conference tomorrow? I mean, if so, it's the most heavily watched press conference in history, right?
Well, if it's live, right? I mean, well, they could watch. It's whether they watch it live or they watch clips of it after. I have to tell you, I mean, I'm just curious. I imagine tough questions have to be posed, not only about his cognitive, abilities, but also the idea of, he says he's the best man for the job. Is he going to be asked questions, you think, about Kamala Harris? Because, the question could be, why don't you allow her to serve? Or if you don't think she's up for it, why is she your vice president?
Totally. Absolutely. And I will remind you, and I hope a reporter cites this because they should, Joe Biden expressly said during the 2020 campaign, I am a bridge to a younger generation of leaders. He did that surrounded by Amy Klobuchar, the senator from Minnesota, Kamala Harris, Pete Buttigieg, right? So if he meant that, then why, given the polling that suggests he has major problems in these swing states and nationally now, why is he still running? I mean, I think that's a very legitimate question. One thing I will say to watch for, Jesse, Biden has been, let's call it, the best case scenario is strident in the last 72 hours. The worst case scenario is sort of arrogant / I'll call it Trumpian, right? Like, only I can win. Only I can fix this. Only I know how to do this.
Yeah.
He has that side to him. If that side comes out, that is not a good thing for him.
That we saw a little bit about that there when he called in for MSNBC. That was a comparison people were making. All right, we'll see. Chris Cillizza, I think it's going to be fascinating. I think a lot of people are going to watch it either live or clips of it, and we will dissect it here on NewsNation. Chris Cillizza, thanks so much.
I will be watching, Jesse.
Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your cable provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.